What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Sector for Nerds. Today, we're here to discuss this article by Screen Rant, talking about the next Star Wars movie being finished, that being The Mandalorian and Grogu, and the Lucasfilm boss teasing Grogu's future. So let's get into that today. Make sure you guys like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. We're getting closer to 2,000 subscribers, so if we can get there by the end of this year, it'd be greatly appreciated. Okay, so we got here, the next Star Wars movie, Mandalorian and Grogu, has officially finished filming. The Mandalorian and Grogu was announced back in January of 2024 as the continuation of the Mandalorian TV show story, which will see Din Djarin and Grogu working on behalf of the New Republic Rangers, while the Mandalorian takes his newly adopted son on apprentice journeys. Only a limited part of the Mandalorian and Grogu's cast is known as far as details go, and secrets have survived production. Good, because I don't want spoilers about this movie being out there. I like things better when I am surprised, and the internet doesn't spoil everything for me. Speaking to Extra TV at the premiere of the latest Star Wars show, Skeleton Crew, Lucasfilm's chief creative officer Dave Filoni confirmed that filming for The Mandalorian and Grogu is now complete. This means that the secrets and surprises awaiting the audience in The Mandalorian and Grogu are truly under tight wraps. Good. Filoni's also teased small aspects of Grogu's future, discussing the evolution of character both in universe and behind the scenes, insisting that he has become such a star. What Filoni's comments mean for Star Wars? The next Star Wars movie era is upon us. Well, I guess we can kind of hope so, because it's kind of been a minute since they've put a movie out on screen. For those who are ready to see Star Wars hit the big screen again, this is thrilling news. It's the first Star Wars movie to complete production and prepare for a big screen release since 2019's Rise of Skywalker. After years of scrapped Star Wars movie projects, The Mandalorian and Grogu is finally taking another step towards its big screen debut, becoming much more than a simple idea on paper. The wait for a new Star Wars movie is nearly over. There seems to be a lot in store for its tightlier characters. I will say this much, and I've seen a lot of people talking about this, the idea that this Mando and Grogu movie would have been a much bigger deal if it came out after Mandalorian Season 2. And I completely agree with that, but I don't think that's going to necessarily take away from the excitement of this movie, especially with Star Wars coming back to the big screen since it's been so freaking long. And then, we've got two characters in The Mandalorian and Grogu that people are really into. I think the only thing that would quote unquote damage it was perhaps the perception of Season 3. And listen, Season 3 was by far the worst season of Mandalorian, but I still thought that season had some good moments overall. I think what this movie is going to do is get us back to basics when it comes to The Mandalorian. The stuff that we were seeing in Mandalorian Season 1 and Season 2 that everybody enjoyed so much, where it was more so about Mando and Grogu than it was in Season 3, it was more about Bo-Katan, and it was more about the Mandalorians as a whole. Our take on Grogu's future. Could he become the galaxy's most important Mandalorian? That's a bold claim. Given Filoni's emphasis on Grogu's evolution, it seems as if The Mandalorian and Grogu is going to mark an important step in Grogu's future, especially as he trains under his father's tutelage. Grogu's force powers already gave him a leg up, as Din Djarin is encouraging Grogu to blend his force abilities with his Mandalorian training to make him an even more effective warrior. What I will say is I think there is an interesting story, not necessarily in this movie, but to be told at one point of Grogu potentially tapping in with the dark side of the Force. So maybe because he ignores the Jedi trainings or whatever, he becomes more susceptible to the dark side, perhaps. Like I said, I don't even think that's the story that they're going to tell in the movie, but I think it's something that they'll maybe tap into later down the line. As Grogu gets older and learns from his father's teachings, he will most likely become one of the galaxy's strongest and most capable warriors. I mean, there's always that potential. We'll have to see. This movie is made extremely important by a Mandalorian prophecy first shared in the book of Boba Fett. The armor spoke of a Mythosaur rising to herald a new age of Mandalore, and this creature was spotted underneath the living waters on Mandalore in The Mandalorian Season 3. Given Grogu's ability to connect to the creatures of any size through the Force, as it demonstrates on the Rancor in the Book of Boba Fett, it could be that Grogu becomes the next Mandalorian to tame the Mythosaur and prove his worth. I'm going to be honest, I didn't even think of that as a possibility, but I'm sitting here thinking about it. That's actually not a bad idea. Like, I always thought, like, okay, maybe that's like what they're setting up in like Mando season 4 or in this movie is like Mando's going to end up taming the Mythosaur. The idea that Grogu could potentially be the one to do it, that's actually kind of cool. I wouldn't be mad at that. Either way, exciting things clearly await Grogu in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Mandalorian and Grogu hits theaters May 22nd of 2026. Holy crap, we still have another year and a half before this movie releases. This article making it sound like, oh, it's coming up so soon, you guys. A whole nother year and a half yet. So by that point, it's going to be, what, 7 years since a Star Wars movie hit theaters? This better deliver, man. That's all I'm going to say. You guys will have to let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this article. You guys excited for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie? What do you think the future of Grogu holds? Do you think he ends up taming the Mythosaur? Do you think that, you know, he goes down the path of the dark side potentially? Does he go back to his, you know, potentially being a Jedi? Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Like it, subscribe to the channel, share it with others to help support the channel, and I will see you guys next time.
This is the way.
This is the way. This is the way.
I'm glad you're here to tell us these things.